The date is Tuesday, February 4. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The government has reiterated its support for Jamaicans in China, even as that country battles the novel coronavirus. The death toll from the flu-like outbreak now stands at 425. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, said that while the government stands ready to give support, they are hampered by the fact that not all Jamaicans that travel to China registers with the embassies there. To counter this, the minister said that the government has set up a registry.
We have created an online registration form, which is now on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website. We have shared it through the embassy in Beijing and through the community there.
Thus far, some 400 Jamaicans have registered online, including 29 persons in Wuhan, the province at the epicenter of the outbreak. The ministry has been inundated with calls for Jamaicans in China to be returned home. However, Mrs. Johnson-Smith said it's not so simple.
It is not just a matter of an availability of a flight. It is that movement within the provinces, etc., is challenging and is being advised against in certain areas. But we're trying to get the best information, best support.
And investigations are being carried out on passengers who recently visited China and entered Jamaica prior to the declaration of a travel ban. The disclosure was made Monday by Chief Executive Officer of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, Andrew Winter, who said the necessary information will be handed over to the Ministry of Health for them to locate such individuals and conduct health checks. The PICA CEO is confident that sufficient measures are in place at Jamaica's airports to prevent the spread of the coronavirus to Jamaica. Mr. Winter said the advanced passenger information system is being used in the screening process. Jamaicans are being advised to visit a health facility at the first symptom of dengue and not to wait until the condition has reached a critical stage. Senior Medical Officer at the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital, Dr. Suman Vimu, says persons who do not live close to a hospital should visit their health center, and he implored all patients to follow the instructions given by the doctor. Dr. Vimu was addressing the dengue town hall meeting hosted by the Westmoreland Public Health Services at the Betheltown Baptist Church in the parish on Thursday. During the recent national dengue cleanup, Prime Minister Andrew Holness also added his voice to the call. He urged citizens to take responsibility for their environment.
What we are trying to say to you today is that you have to start to take responsibility for how you dispose of your solid waste. Back them up and wait for the NSWMA to come and dispose of it properly. Do not throw it into the gully or into the drain. The other thing we are saying to you is, many of you have to store water. So you have your 45-gallon drum and you might have bigger drums. And you see the little wigglers inside here, and sometimes you don't even know that there's those little wigglers, the larvae, that turn into mosquito.
He also called for awareness about this deadly virus, as the country must remain vigilant in destroying mosquito breeding sites in our communities. Some citizens, however, are convinced that dengue is not spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes.
We stopped up the road and we met two ladies, and I have to tell it here because it's very important. One of the ladies said to me she got dengue.
No,
You sure?
Sure.
You and I know that it is the mosquito that is the vector that transmits the dengue virus. But the truth be told, there are many Jamaicans who still have this false view that it is not the mosquito. Now once they think like that, then they have no incentive to do the things necessary to remove the breeding sites from their immediate location. So we want to make it clear here in this community that it is the mosquito Indeed, a particular man, see my friend shaking his head and says that the mosquito. You see it? So it is very important that we don't take it for granted that it is all Jamaicans that believe so. So our job as leaders of the country, no matter how big we feel that we are Prime Minister, we must step up with football with this. We have to come down to ground zero.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says that the government remains committed to maintaining the social partnership arrangement to combat potential threats to Jamaica's economy.
In the history of our country, we have had stewards that have not always appreciated, understood, or have been able to execute policies that address effectively the threats that face our economy and society. It now falls to me and my generation to provide that good stewardship.
Mr. Holness says the growth and success of our stock market reflect our hard-won macroeconomic stability, and we cannot take it for granted.
The point is that we are still vulnerable. We're still vulnerable. We're vulnerable by virtue of our size. We're vulnerable by virtue of our open economy. We're vulnerable by virtue of the lack of greater diversity and complexity in our economy. We are vulnerable because we still have serious inequality and social equity issues to address. And we are vulnerable because of climate change issues, sea level rise, greater storms with greater intensity. And we are vulnerable to epidemics and other health concerns.
He was speaking at the recent 15th Regional Jamaica Stock Exchange Investments and Capital Markets Conference. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the appointed date on which the Tourism Workers Pension Act came into operation on January 31, 2020, with registration for the scheme to begin soon. Speaking at a press conference at the Ministry of Tourism's new Kingston offices on Monday, the tourism minister said, quote, "This gazetted date sets the stage for the Board of Trustees to conclude the arrangements with the fund manager and the fund administrator. The long-awaited Tourism Workers Pension Scheme is designed to cover all workers ages 18 to 59 years in the tourism sector, whether permanent, contract, or self-employed. The augmented pension beneficiaries will be persons who joined the scheme at 59 years old. With the ministry's injection of funds, these persons will qualify for a minimum pension. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie has announced plans to construct a fire station to serve the hilly communities of southern Trelawney. He said that the process to build the new facility will commence in the 2020-2021 financial year, which gets underway on April 1. The minister was speaking at the handover of a home of an indigent resident of Stettin, South Trelawney, on January 29. He informed that land has been identified for the construction of a new fire station, which will bring the number of facilities in the parish to 2. The new station will serve Ulster Spring, Albert Town, Wait a Bit, Warsop, Troy, Stettin, and other areas. Director of the UWI, the University of the West Indies Disaster Risk Reduction Center, Dr. Barbara Carby, wants Jamaicans to participate in at least 2 earthquake drills per year. Her call comes after 3 earthquakes rattled Jamaica at least 2 days last week. Tuesday's tremor was in the aftermath of the quake, and a tsunami was issued by the U.S. Geological Survey of Kingston, the Cayman Islands, and Cuba. The 7.7 quake was followed by a second 4.7 tremor near Jamaica Tuesday afternoon. Speaking with Nationwide News, she said her agency is partnering with other regional groups to develop technology that can make certain predictions about people's behavior following an earthquake. And Jamaicans are being warned to expect property insurance rates to rise by 10 to 15% this year because of increasingly destructive Atlantic hurricane seasons in recent years. The caution was issued Monday afternoon by the Insurance Association of Jamaica, whose executive director, Orville Johnson, cited the Caribbean's increased risk rating as a defining factor behind the impending hike, which is likely to bump up mortgage payments. The rise in fees will reinforce the growing concern over climate change and the dangers it poses to small island states that are at a greater risk of vulnerability to planet Earth's temperamental weather. Recently, Prime Minister Andrew Holness met with the Board of Management of Urban Development Corporation, the UDC, as well as members of the Design Collaborative Architects and Town Planners to get a progress report on the new Parliament building. Updates were provided on the civil landscaping and architectural phase of the new Parliament building, out of many one people. The new Houses of Parliament building, out of many one people, will occupy a place of prominence at the National Heroes Park in Kingston. The Design Collaborative Architects and Town Planners team won the design competition. Sam Sharp Square in Montego Bay now has free Wi-Fi. The hotspot was installed by the Universal Service Fund, an agency of the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology. It was unveiled at a ceremony at the historic Sam Sharp Square recently. Science, Energy and Technology Minister Favour Williams, Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Homer Davies, as well as Chief Executive Officer of the USF, Daniel Dawes, participated in the ceremony.
We don't just want you to go on and talk or text. We want you to go on and do some homework, pull down information that can help you in your studies. Use the Wi-Fi wisely. Use it well. Tell your neighbors about it. Use it responsibly.
Other public Wi-Fi hotspots already in operation include Halfway Tree, St. William Grant Park, Olympic Way, Devon House, and Emancipation Park in Kingston, the Cecil Charlton Park in Mandeville, and in Junction, St. Elizabeth. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange has welcomed home the Jamaican Grammy-winning artist Koffee. Minister Grange met the artist at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston on Monday. It was the singer's first time returning to Jamaica since winning the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album in Los Angeles, California on January 26, 2020. Minister Grange had this to say to the awardee.
I'm really very happy to welcome Koffee home after making history as the first female reggae artist to win the Grammys. I'm as excited as when I was Shabba Ranks' manager and we won the Grammy. It was a fantastic experience, and I feel so good about Koffee's success and the fact that I'm declaring interest. She lives in my constituency. Okay? She has just moved from success to success. And what is so beautiful about her, she's young, she's bright, and she's humble.
The minister described it as a blessing to be celebrating Koffee's success during the Reggae Month celebrations. Koffee also paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Andrew Holness at Jamaica House. The US dollar is being traded at $140.85, down by 37 cents. And that's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar is being traded at $104.51, down from $106.64, while the British pound sterling is being traded at $182.27, down from $184.64. In regional news, there have been 114 earthquakes of magnitude greater than 4.2 in the Caribbean region over the past month. According to the website volcanodiscovery.com, these affected Puerto Rico, Venezuela, the Cayman Islands, the British Virgin Islands, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, and Dominica. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration records, the earthquake experienced in the Cayman Islands and Jamaica on January 28 is now the strongest on record for the Caribbean since the 1946 quake off the coast of the Dominican Republic. These earthquakes have nothing in common other than their geological cause. Caribbean islands are prone to quakes because they stand along the fault lines of the Caribbean plate, one of the sections of the Earth's crust and mantle that are constantly pushing and grinding against each other. As tensions build up and are released in a sudden shift by one plate or the other, an earthquake results. There is a call for Caribbean integration from CARICOM Chairman and Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley. Addressing the 2020 Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference in Port of Spain on Monday, the Prime Minister acknowledged the low economic growth that has hamstrung the region.
Our growth has been anemic at best as a region in the last 20 years. Our financial services sector is being threatened by underperformance and that low growth. And as a result, moves are being made to relocate financial institutions that have populated this region for in excess of a century. It requires self-examination on our part as to how we move at the beginning of this third decade of the 21st century to chart a way that can secure prosperity at best and stability at worst for our people. The projections shared by some in the Caribbean Development Bank are not great and show that without intervention, this region can be one of the poorest regions by 2050. That is the job of those who look only at the data and who do not understand the potential intervention of political will and the will of the people.
The CARICOM chairman said that high energy costs has eroded the growth that Caribbean countries could enjoy. To mitigate this negative impact, she advocated that the region should coalesce around an approach to sustainable energy.
I believe that the call just now by Prime Minister Rowley is one that we will support entirely, for the issue of energy to be placed at the center of the regional discussions, because for a regional community of sovereign nations in the third decade of the 21st century that now has not just Trinidad and Tobago, but at least 5 countries involved in both hydrocarbon and all countries at some point or level, at least aspirationally, willing to participate in renewable energy, that to fail to have an appropriate protocol governing how we deal with each other first and foremost before dealing with anyone else in the world is now incumbent upon us. And that is the principle of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, that we treat each other better than we treat anyone else as a third party.
In sports, Jamaica Olympic Association General Secretary and CEO Ryan Foster says despite the failure of Jamaica's senior women's football team to qualify for this year's Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan, they have the full support of the organization going forward. The Reggae Girls, already out of contention, will face St. Kitts and Nevis in the final game of group play Tuesday at HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas at 8:30 p.m., bringing an end to a disappointing campaign from the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup participants. Foster is hopeful that the girls and the local football authority can learn from the disappointment and push the women's game locally going forward. Jamaica are currently in third place in Group B with 0 points, having lost to both Mexico and Canada, the latter in a 9-0 hammering by the 2-time Olympic bronze medalists on Saturday. And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.